just check this before we get to work. 4,400. The hell? What the? Holy smokes. Well, that's crazy. What the? Sweetheart, go crash into something else. I kid, of course. I don't want her to crash anything else. I didn't want her to crash into the trash can the first time, which I'm about to say mailbox because she's also hit our mailbox. But that's kind of crazy. That video got 4,000 views. Now for me, I don't get a lot of views. So that's kind of crazy. Also as crazy as this leaf is in the way. Let me just move this over. Hey, all right. Today I have a very short amount of time. In fact, I only have an hour out here because I am looking forward to watching the Philadelphia Eagles play today at 1 o'clock. I'm not an Eagles fan. If you are, right on. If you are, look out for Taylor Moore, 45. My boy Taylor is playing. He's my college buddy from Wake, and I'm super excited. So yeah. So today we're back here at the old junk MR2, and I am close to being done. In fact, all I really need to do now, take off the front spring here. I'm going to take all this apart, take off the brake caliper, excuse me. I'm going to get this spring off. This is a Eibach Sport Line. I'm going to get it off. I've got the other 3 off already. I will make a little insert to go in there. It's just a piece of pipe. It's fence post. But I'm going to show you how easy it is to take off the front suspension off an MR2. Yes, this one's been has the fender removed and stuff like that, but honestly, the process is the same, whether it's stripped down like this or not. I've done this a handful of times, unfortunately. When I first got the car, when I upgraded the struts, when I got the conies, now on this, I've done it a lot. I'm getting pretty proficient. I'll show you how to do it. It won't take long. We'll get through it very, very quickly. All the guys supporting, supporting, watching the videos, thank you so much. That's flipping awesome. It really was like insane to see the views go up on that, because I'm just making stupid videos. But yet 4,000 people watching, that's insane. And then like the subscribers went from like 370 to 414 or something, which is insane to me. And I'm sure there's some videos out there or channels that are like, 40 subscribers, 30 subscribers is nothing. But for me, that's a lot. And that's really cool. So thank you. Let's get to this. Let me get my tools together, and I'll show you what you need. And we're gonna get through this. It'll be pretty straightforward. All right, I've gathered my tools. Honestly, when I first did this, back on my street car, the one I'm driving now, I just used hand tools, no power tools. Today, I will implement my impact. And also, I may use this. Yeah, maybe. That tie rod end, I may just cut that. I'll show you how to take it off, but I don't need it. I'll show you how to do it. If it comes off easily, cool. If it doesn't, I'm taking the angle grinder to it and cutting that mess right on off. You don't need much. I'm going to use a 12 millimeter. I'm going to have here a 17 millimeter. 14 millimeter socket will go up here on those bolts. I got a 17. Crap. 17 and a 19. I didn't go far. Also, I will be using, what is this? This is also 19 on here. This will be for the strut top. And the reason I'm using this one differently is because it's just a lot bigger overall, and this won't fit into the strut mount. This will. This is all I'm going to use today. We're going to take this off. It'll be really quite simple. First thing I'm going to do is take my 19. I'm going to unbolt this. I'm going to use the impact. You don't have to. Again, I did this multiple times without. You don't have to, but dang, this makes it a lot easier. Sorry. I was going the wrong way. Whoops. Okay. So, I've gotten it spun off a little bit, but it is not coming all the way. Let me put my wrench on there. And there we go. that gets that off. And now these bolts are ready to come out. These are your lower mounting points. I'll try to move this closer. What I just removed were these two nuts here. These are on the lower part of the shock tower, or the strut tower, excuse me, the strut mount. So now those are out. I can tap those out and just use this. Those will come right out, no problem there. I'm gonna keep those there for the moment. Next, let me remove these 4 bolts. And to be honest with you, I've already loosened them before, but you know, lefty loosey, righty tighty. Take those 4 off, and we're close to being done with this. So what I'm going to do now, the top 4 mounts are off. These 2 are loose. Just these aren't all the way out yet. They're still holding in place. Now I got 2 things more to mess with. One's the brakes, and then one's that tie rod that I showed you. The tie rod end, I believe, is a 14. Maybe it's a 12. I need to double check so I don't lie to anybody. I don't want to lie to anybody. Yes, so those are 14s, so I'll grab those in a minute. And I do have to mess with these brake lines. So I'm going to take this caliper off. So the caliper, I think these are 14s. Excuse me. These are 14s back here to take off the assembly itself, the caliper itself, but the bracketry is a 17 millimeter, and it is back here. There's one on the top, one on the bottom. I'll show you that in a moment. There's a clip to take off here. Use pliers to pull that out. I'll disconnect the brake line. That way all that will come through, and it'll actually fall through that that tower mount. And yeah, I'm gonna say 5 minutes and screw myself, because anytime you say 5 minutes, well, here comes an hour. But I'm gonna put on a little hyperlapse and get through this pretty quick. Well, as I sort of predicted, I'm having a hard time getting those off right now. I think part of the reason is my jack stand's kind of in the way. I don't want to use that as an excuse, honestly, but whatever. So I'm going to cut that. But I'll cut that in a few once we get everything else off. So let's work on those brake calipers right quick. Get those off. Again, you're going to use a 17 millimeter on the back for the actual bracketry, for the well, the hardware for the brackets. And if I'm looking down, that big one right here, there's your top one, and your bottom one, oh, I can't hardly see this, I'm sorry. There we go. There's your bottom one. Those are 17. I am going to be using an impact on this. So actually what I want to do is take off these guys right here. These are 12s. I'll also take off the valve there, the screw. I'll take that off first, and then I'll take the bracketry off, because then I can get my impact in and just make it a little bit quicker of a job for myself. Yeah, I'm being lazy, sorry. Well, I'm not very good at the YouTube, so you may have missed some of that. 17 millimeters for the bracket. The caliper itself has 14 millimeters, excuse me, 12 millimeters for that. And you do have 2 different lengths. You have a long one and a short one. The long one goes in the top, the short one goes in the bottom. Pretty straightforward there. Brakes are off. Let's pull this strut tower out, and the disassembly process is so close to being done, and it's only been, basically, it's been 5 minutes. A little bit longer than I said because, well, I screwed myself, but here we go. Now, before I take off this spring, and I'll talk about that in a second, I need to kind of measure how big of a pipe do I need to fill in the gap. And I want to fill in the gap between down here where the nut goes and right up there where the top of the bump stop is. And this is a little bit too long, by about 1 inch. So I'll make a mark. That'll be my cutoff place. shortly. I'm going to cut this, and it's going to take the place of that spring. Now, to get that spring off, again, on these, it is a 19 millimeter. I would say, I love safety, and I'm wearing my safety glasses. I like safety. On these lowering springs, they don't have quite as much pressure built up, unsprung, like waiting to go out, as stock units. If you have a stock setup, if you're working with stock springs, 100% go to Harbor Freight, spend 20 bucks on the spring compressors. I've used them a handful of times. They're great, but for this, these just don't have a whole lot of power in them, or like, you know, unsprung. So I'm gonna use this 19. Now, if I say that, we'll see what happens here. It's probably gonna screw me over and kill me. If it does, well, no more bills. Well, I'm still alive, unfortunately. This stuff can kind of get stuck. So let me use this to kind of pry things out. This car's been sitting a long time. This is going to be a problem. Just trying to pry. This car's been sitting a while, and these parts are not coming off as easy as if it were a car that had been maintained better, not been sitting for a decade or whatever. So I'm going to take this off, and that's really all it takes to take the brakes off, take the suspension out. The reverse is, well, the reverse. You know, installs just everything in reverse order. I will keep looping the video to show me putting it all back together, but that's the nuts and bolts of it, no pun intended. Again, thanks so much for all the support. It's flipping awesome, and it made my little beach holiday that much better. Cheers, guys. Take care.